So how do you bring HP technology in? How do you bring 3D printing technology into your manufacturing workflow? I'll say like the biggest challenge a lot of people when they come to us is that they haven't figured out their whole digital flow. Digital workflow has to be the first thing to figure out before you get into the 3D printing discussion. In fact, I'll say Joe wrote a very interesting article. Joe, I believe it was in Academy Today, talking about workflow. I'll say he only mentioned FDM, so I was hesitant to say it, but he did talk about very, very genuinely about the challenges of transitioning from a very traditional manufacturing process and the steps that he took to move into a digital workflow. I thought it was really fascinating. If you get a chance, I think it's certainly a worthwhile article to read if you're looking to get into that digital transformation journey. But here's my quick take on it here. For an organization to really successfully embrace 3D printing, it's not just based on the great 3D printing technology, no matter how disruptive it is. This requires a transformation of organizational priorities, mindsets, and processes. And that can be a lot. When we look at when we're talking to customers about where they're at in their digital journey, things that we like to know are, have they evaluated their process? What are the steps that they're really trying to digitize versus what are they willing to hang on to manually? Also looking at their talent. So if you have a clinic that's deeply rooted in, beautiful traditional artisan work, they may not be as well versed on the digital competency that you might need for some of the CAD software that's out there. So doing a talent evaluation of, do you have the team that can help you with that transformation, or do you need to start looking at bringing on particular talent to help with this digital transformation? Also evaluating your applications. So which products are really bogging your production down? Which products are really best suited for 3D printing versus what do you really want to maintain in your traditional manufacturing? A great example of that is foot orthotics. Foot orthotics can really take up a lot of time because of the volume, but your reimbursement is very low. So is that something you should really be doing manually when you can focus on other aspects or other applications? Or is that something that you should look at moving into a 3D printing ecosystem, along with AFOs or other similar products? We don't talk about it, or we tend to skip over this, but also thinking ahead about the finishing of the device that you're creating. What do you want it to look like is so important. For some applications, maybe having a simple dyed product is going to be perfect, but you might want a really high gloss, high finish, vapor smoothing that gives you that really commercial gleam of finishing, and it's a fantastic process. So keeping in mind what that part finishing is, and then you can start evaluating what 3D printer is going to be best suited for all of those choice points. And like I said, I would love to sit here and tell you MJF is the choice, but it simply isn't true. There are certainly applications where FDM might be better. There are materials, if you have a specific material that you're looking at, that might not be available in MJF, and that's okay. I will say, if you are looking at scalability within your polymers line, PA12, PA11 TPU, MJF is definitely one that you should be giving a really strong look at. Then your final big piece of this puzzle is your digital workflow evaluation. How much work do you want to do in the digital workflow to get to 3D printing? And these will help determine what your output can be, how you get your product design into a 3D printer and back into your hands. So, for example, if you only want to do scanning, there are some great end-to-end solutions out there where all you have to do is scan and they have the entire flow figured out for you. So Leopoly spoke about that earlier, Drew with Leopoly. Inmet Medical is another great example of that, where they have beautiful designs and require very little digital input from you. There are companies that will take the scan, you can do the rectification as well, and then send out the product design. They'll modify the design, send you back the print, or you do all of it yourself and maybe send it to a service bureau or a digital manufacturing network to do the printing for you, but you've controlled all of the other aspects of your digital design. That becomes a great step for if you're not quite ready for acquiring a 3D printer, but want to take advantage of all the capabilities of MJF. And obviously, last step being MJF acquisition when you really want to build and scale. So it looks complicated, but these are just, different ways that you can be evaluating your readiness and all of the key things that you should be considering when thinking of digital transformation and bringing MJF into all of that.